Hi, Aquarius. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September of 2021. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kell Miller. Right now I'm in Reading, Pennsylvania, and with me is...
Hey guys, I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
Well, Aquarius, you're going to find that this month's horoscope emphasizes the arenas of intimacy, whether financial or emotional. And if you want clues about your emotional relationship, you might want to get a lifelong love reading. You can find a link about that in the YouTube description below. And if you want clues about your finances, you could get that in a natal and transit reading, also in the YouTube description. Well, Julia, I think you're going to kick this off with a look at Venus, yeah?
Well, hey Aquarius. So Venus is the planet of art, beauty, and relationships. Wherever we have Venus is where we experience some pleasure and luck. So Venus begins the month in your ninth house. This is the house of travel. This is the house of higher learning. It's just a really adventurous place. So with Venus here, for all the single Aquariuses out there, this is a time where you might find yourself really attracted to somebody who comes from a really different background than you, because the ninth house rules foreigners. And it's a very sort of adventurous time in your relationship if you are in one, Aquarius. This is a really, really great transit for planning and taking some sort of trip that really broadens your horizons or learning something new. Then on September 10th, Venus goes into your 10th house of career. So also lovely time for getting along really, really well with the people that you work with. The 10th house also is your public reputation. So if you're doing anything public, maybe doing some public speaking or any other promotion, this can be a wonderful, wonderful time for that as well. And the 10th house rules authority figures. So you could also gain the favor of authority figures in your life, which can be really useful. Then Mars, the planet of action and activity, starts the month in your 8th house. It's going to spend the first half of the month here. So the 8th house represents the finances you share with other people. Things like loans, joint credit cards, inheritances. These could be people close to you or even institutions like banks or stocks. So with Mars here for the first half of the month, there might be frustrations and flare-ups over money, or frustrations and maybe trying to get some shared resources that might get a little bit complicated. And the 8th house is also the house of social taboos. So the first half of your month, you might be very driven by sort of the more mysterious dark side of life and more sort of like a little moth to the flame with those social taboos. Then Mars.
You're getting all 50 shades on me, Julia.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's, we should call this the 50 Shades house, actually.
Yeah, totally.
Then Mars on September 14th goes into your 9th house. Again, this is the house of higher learning and travel. So when Mars moves into the 9th, if you're in school, it could be a bit more of a frustrating time with any type of higher learning, or a frustration with any trips that you have planned at the same time too. It's also a very stir-crazy time because you'll probably want to go out and adventure and try new things. And if you don't have that opportunity right now, you can feel really, really pent up. Then Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, is going to be in your 9th house all month, but it is going retrograde on September 26th. The retrograde cycle will carry us into October, so we're definitely going to look at that again in our next series of videos for October. But generally speaking, Mercury in the 9th house. Again, this is the house of travel, house of higher learning. This can be a wonderful time for learning new things, because this house can also represent philosophy as well. Also a good time for thinking and strategizing if you have any legal matters in your life, because that's also ruled by the 9th. But when Mercury goes retrograde at the end of the month, this can be times of miscommunications. It can also be a time of having to redo and rethink maybe stuff that you're working on at school, or even legal matters if those are also a part of your life. Also, Mercury going retrograde in the 9th can create some screwiness with travel plans as well, so just be aware.
Yeah, wherever Mercury is retrograde, like if Mercury retrograde happens, which is 3 times a year, it happens for 3 weeks every time. Whatever house it's in, you really got to watch out and just dot all the I's and cross the T's. And in the 9th house, that can really impact your travel plans. So if it's possible, not traveling during this would be the best. But if you have to travel, just, pay attention to every detail. So then there are a couple of moons, and the first of the 2 moons that I want to tell you about very much pertains to this Mercury retrograde. It is a new moon in Virgo, which is a sign Mercury traditionally rules. And whenever the moon is new, we have this sense of new beginnings, a sense of a fresh start. Virgo demands that you get organized, that you handle the details, that you be meticulous, that you approach things with a lot of integrity and set up really good systems. Now, this is occurring in your eighth house, which, as Julia has mentioned, is a domain of shared finances. So this is a house having to do with loans and credit and debt, whether that money is owed to you or owed by you. And this would be a really good time to set up the systems whereby, you know, you can clean up that old debt, or you can, delicately approach that friend who still owes you from the years, and see if you can get some traction on that. So this would be a good new moon for that. It's happening early in the month, around the 6th. We're calling this one Being Weird Your Own Way, but also relatable. You can find a video that says a lot more about this moon on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, in the September 2021 news playlist. But for today's purposes, I just want to let you know a couple more things about it. One is the trine to Uranus is what brings up this quality of quirkiness and eccentricity, which nonetheless occurs, I think, during this moon as charming rather than off-putting. So if you want to fly your freak flag, this moon is a good time to do that, but also be in the practice of being relatable while you do that. And that would be because of the influence of Juno. And like I said, you can find out more in our September 2021 news playlist. The other moon of the month is happening later on, closer to the 20th. And that one is a full moon in Pisces. And here it is, right there, falling in your second house, opposite that sun still sitting in your eighth house. So, a lot of activity in the realm of intimacy and sharing, whether that's emotional or physical or financial. The sun is shining the spotlight of attention there, while the moon is bringing strong emotion to the second house, which is a significator of your relationship with the physical world, with your body, the food you put into it, and the money you make to sustain it. So this is absolutely a pair of financial houses, bringing a lot of emotion to that realm. And also, I think, being a really great opportunity to tap off some, shall we say, like buried anguish. The reason is we're calling this one penetrative intuition, and that's because of the relationship that this moon has with Pluto. Pluto falls in your 12th house right now. It's been traveling along through your 12th house for years, possibly bringing things to light from your unconscious, sometimes in a volcanic way, sometimes in more of like a gentle scrub down kind of way. And this is more one of those occasions. This is a great moon for the revelation of secrets, or perhaps the revelation that you already know about secrets, especially if you know that your business partner has been embezzling in a really small way. This might be a really good time to just point to that gently and say, I know you've been nipping from the till, and that's not okay. And let's put some systems into place to clean that up. I'm not mad at you about it right now. We can put it behind us, but let's just get it out in the open. That kind of a gentle approach can really, really work under this moon. It doesn't have to turn into some big explosive thing. And if it already is something that would be explosive, I don't know that now really is the time. Yeah, I think that's going to have to be up to you. But this moon is really, really helpful for bringing things to light. Then the last thing I want to tell you about is the change in seasons. The sun traveling along through Virgo, as I mentioned, brings the spotlight of attention to whatever arena that it's traveling through. That would be your eighth house, of sexuality, death and rebirth, transformation and metamorphosis, sharing, including finances. So all things intimate and deep. And so, there's my phone being loud. Silent. So intimacy is a really good place for you to be putting your attention this month. And when you put your attention on an arena, that's when things can really grow. So the month begins that way, and the first 2/3 of the month are like that while the sun is in Virgo. And then along about the 22nd, 23rd, the sun moves into your 9th house, which, as Julia mentioned, is a house of travel. It's a house of expansion. It's a house of all things exotic and adventure. And so turning your attention to those matters in the final third of the month is a great way to go. Well, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this horoscope. And if this is your sun sign, you should definitely check out your rising sign horoscope, if you know what that is, because it will tell you so much more. You can always find your horoscopes on our website, pandoraastrology.com, on our horoscope page. You can find the news of the month, including more about those moons, on our monthly forecast page there on our site. And if you want a reading with us, you can find that there as well, and also classes if you would like to take one. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.